John Stuart Mill raises the questions of ethics in a very accessible manner. And utilitarianism is so much in one form or another the dominant rationality of our time. We have an intrinsic feel for the system because that is certainly how economics proceeds and so on. We get to ask the question, how should we live tonight in relation to a very intelligent, the best presentation of the utilitarian system that you could ask for. It's subtle, as opposed to the form that John Stuart Mill would have inherited from Jeremy Bentham and his father, James Mill. So much of that drama, though, it was a double-edged sword, though, this gift of the most profound education. I mean, Mill wasn't able to go to the great universities of Oxford or Cambridge because of the religious tests involved, and the Mills were not religious at all. So he never went to university. This is one of the most learned men of the age, and probably the most, and he never went to university. So that indicates for you students the possibilities for human existence are wide open as long as you really have a desire to know, and that's what we're here to help foster. The struggle between John Stuart Mill and his father, as far as the psychological effect of so much pressure being put on a boy to carry on the mantle of the radical reform movement that the James Mill and Bentham were set upon. This desire to make fully rational social existence, for instance, to get rid of aristocratic privilege, to get rid of course, the superstitions of religion. This is all a very profound drama that it's worth spending some time on if you get a chance. It's a very moving kind of story to see how a child struggles to get independence from his father. In any case, there's so much to talk about. I want to just indicate that in relation to what we saw last week with Darwin, there's this question of a closed system. If you get rid of religion and you're dealing with a conception of reality where there is no transcendental standpoint, it's not even going to be Kant, right? Kant had at least mystery. There was the thing in itself. There was a transcendent reality that only the practical reason could reach to. But as the advanced industrialized nations move into a period of agnosticism or atheism, leaving Christianity behind, we see how can you make claims about truth if you have a closed system of forces? We've seen the question before. It's going to put a lot of weight on the elites, those who think of themselves as enlightened, somehow holding forth and then imposing their vision upon the rest of society. So we have to see if there are any warrants for that. Of course, with the ethical questions involved here, the big division in ethical theory between duty-based systems. Kant is the great one where you say the right thing to do is the one you do because of duty, not because you might be benefited from it, as opposed to the happiness-based moral systems, which say that the goal that we're always striving for in our action or free action is to attain happiness. That obviously is in our best interest to follow. So utilitarianism, along with classical Christian moral theory, is a happiness or eudaimonistic system, as opposed to a duty-based system. And then a lot of us come from the Catholic tradition, and the term you'll know is that we have a moral realism that in a way combines the two. And if that comes up organically in the conversation, that would be a good thing to deal with. Emma, would you mind reading the questions?
So one, prevalent classical and Christian moral systems share with utilitarianism an identification of happiness as the goal of moral action. Does the utilitarian criterion of morality, the greatest happiness principle, completely destroy that common ground? In what ways does Mill's reliance on progressivist view of history condition his utilitarianism? Does it open the door to elitist social control? What is peculiar about Mill's notions of conscience, will, and virtue? Number 3, Mill's presentation of utilitarianism would allow for an incorporation of, say, a morality based on the Ten Commandments, though his sense of the complexity of life is that we will always have to face the necessity of making exceptions in hard cases. Is that true? Why might it be important to have access to truths that are not simply the products of history? According to Mill, how do the social feelings of mankind provide the foundation for utilitarianism? What kind of progressivist education and sentiments does he promote?